Thanks for joining. I'm Michael Miller with Miami's Community News. Our guest today is Frank Calderon from the Miami-Dade Solid Waste Department. Welcome, and thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
All right, so let's talk about garbage and trash and bulky waste pickup and all those things that make us, when we're out and about, feel better about our homes. So lots of Dade County Solid Waste Department services. So tell us about that.
Approximately 340,000 households, and that's consider that a household's not an individual; it's several usually. So,
and those 340,000 approximately get serviced how often?
we pick up their garbage twice a week.
That's almost 700,000 homes pickups you do.
Yes,
a week.
Because we split. We do half Monday, Thursday. We do the other half Tuesday, Friday.
Okay. So it's a lot of trash.
Yes, quite a bit.
And sometimes we get confused whether we call things trash or garbage, or what's a good term for that stuff that comes from the house.
The stuff that comes from the house, waste is a term. Garbage is also. We internally kind of distinguish between trash and garbage. Garbage is stuff that would come from your house, from inside, like the kitchen, the garbage bag with garbage in it, and trash would be more like the lawn clippings and the old furniture and stuff like that you put out for a bulky waste pickup, for example.
Certainly the word garbage is used in lots of different ways. All right, so yes, that's why we get confused about it. So the stuff that goes into those green carts, right?
Yes,
with the handles towards the house.
Yes,
I've become a real expert. You're on my shoulder every Sunday. I'm going, oh my God. So I'm out there, I'm measuring it, all right? And that's a pretty big job for the county to be able to go service these homes, all right? And do it pretty effectively and almost invisible to the average person.
Unless it's not picked up, then it becomes very visible.
Isn't that amazing?
But of course we're human, so every once in a while, yes, there are misses, but for the most part, we don't miss a lot.
For the average guy, a gal, you put it out on Sunday night, you come back Monday afternoon or whatever your day is, and it's empty.
Pretty much.
Take it and put it back in, fill it back up, put it back out.
On Thursday, yep.
So, and people also want to know, if their green cart is in terrible shape, what should they do?
Oh, just call 311. That's pretty easy. Just call 311 and they will, we actually have cart crews. We have several people that are dedicated to nothing but replacing or fixing carts. If the cart can be fixed on the spot, like let's say the lid's damaged or something, and that's all it is, they'll fix it right there on the spot and return it. If it needs to be replaced, then they'll put another cart out. They'll take the old cart, and what they'll do is they'll cannibalize that cart for parts that they could use to repair another cart.
So we know that if somebody puts in their cart too many gigantic cardboard boxes, of which there's been this huge growth, that they have to bang it up against the top of the truck, and that's not without a cost as far as to the integrity of the thing.
It can damage the truck and can damage the cart. The other thing is that especially when you wedge in large items like cardboard boxes, wedge it into your cart, it might get stuck, and no matter how many times they bang it, it might not come out. So you'll come back home and you say, they didn't take the whole thing, they only took part, but it's the boxes that got stuck there. That's the problem.
And so we know it's easy for people to say, I'll put whatever I want into those green things, because as soon as they pick up, it becomes invisible and no one's going to know. And so lots of times people put stuff they shouldn't. What are some things that people should put somewhere else that you find in those green carts?
Well, all right, the green cart will take more stuff than we do in a recycling cart, obviously. Some of the big items that are big no-nos, propane tanks. Those are not just the bad thing, they're dangerous. They're potentially dangerous. Somebody could get hurt with those. Certain chemical wastes, most chemical wastes actually, like cleaning supplies, pesticides, stuff like that. We actually have centers where those can be taken. Electronics shouldn't be placed in there because that's bad for the environment. And those liquid paint, if you have paint and you want to throw it out, dry it up. Take the lid off, let it sit in the backyard or in the garage or something for a few days so the paint dries up, and then once it's dried, you can throw it in your garbage, no problem. But don't put it in there liquid, because we'll see the trail of paint leading from in front of your house down the street
from your broken can.
Yeah.
So let's talk again about propane tanks. I had one yesterday, Sunday, and I said, I was getting ready to figure out what to do with it. And our lawn guy was there. I go, you want this? He says, yes. I said, thank goodness. Now I don't have to take it someplace.
There you
But
go.
certainly, you know, and I grabbed it, and I knew there was gas in it. But even if it's empty, you still should not put that into.
Well, not gas. Yeah, that
Yes.
you could take that to a home chemical. Paint you can, but not preferably. Latex paint you can. You can put it in.
We know the blue cards, right,
Yes.
are for recycling.
Yes,
Those routes are different than the different organizations. Does that?
I believe the routes are the same, but it's a different. It's contracted. The recycling is contracted. The garbage is picked up by our employees.
And on the recycling, how often do they come out?
That's every 2 weeks.
All right. I'm still trying to get that down pat. I'm still struggling with
It's
it.
every 2 weeks, but generally speaking, I think there are very few minor number of exceptions. But for the most part, it's going to be one of your garbage collection days to at least kind of keep it simpler for you.
So if I leave it out there, I'll figure out what day that is.
At some point, or you can call 311 or visit our website to find out.
And
Yeah.
that website's right on the screen over there.
Miami-Dade.gov/solid waste.
So let's talk about, you have 340,000 homes. And how many people are involved, the driving trucks during the week? And how many routes are there?
All right, we have about 100, close to 160 routes that are, times 2 that are picked up on a daily basis. So basically, it's roughly 320 routes total, and we have 181 budgeted positions for drivers, roughly, but they're not all filled, which is why we're always hiring, and we're actually open hiring right now.
So they can go to this website that's up there?
Well, actually, Miami-Dade.gov/jobs.
All right.
And then look for a waste truck driver, and you'll be able to find the application.
So during the time when you don't have when you have some openings, how do you cover those other routes during that time?
We're able to cover them now. I mean, we had an issue earlier in the year because a lot of people were out sick, and that's when when there was a spike. So we had some issues then. We're able to cover it now with the people we do have. What ends up happening, though, if for whatever reason people out sick, people on vacation or whatever, we need to cover, some of the drivers will be asked to to complete a second route, or it may fall to supervisors as well.
So one of the things that I think as human beings, which we do naturally, the truck driver, we forget those are real live human beings, all right?
Yes.
That are there, all right, doing a tough job every day, taking care of us. And so my suggestion is say hi to the gal or to the guy that's up there, all right?
Yes.
Say thank you for what you do, because it makes a difference. And instead of it just being that truck, all right, the truck that shakes by can, all right, and does some things. So again, so the department's looking for people to apply, all right? They have to have a certain type of
CDL.
license. It's called what?
CDL, commercial driver's license.
And it sure would be good if they had some experience. Otherwise, driving around those big trucks gets tough.
It would help, but we do offer specific training specific to the garbage trucks, because that's different beast than the average standard truck, for example. For one thing, they drive on the right-hand side. The trucks, the ones that I've seen, all have dual drive. You can drive left-hand side, right-hand side. The theory is that you drive it to your route area from the yard on the left-hand side, like all of us normally drive, and then get in the right-hand side to operate the joystick and pick up the carts. But some people they get in the right side. They don't want to switch, so they'll get on the right side and they'll drive it to the route like that.
Okay, so we had somebody comment. Let's see, George Gonzalez. Good morning, guys. He said to Frank, do you have any tips for hurricane season? I'm going to cut down a couple trees. So let's hear it from.
Now is a good time to do that if you're going to do it before the season hits. Of course, if I understand it, falls under a different department, but if the trees are native, I think you have to get a permit from RER. So check that out first. Go to their website and check that out first, or call 311. They might be able to help you with that as well. But once you've chopped down the tree, you can. I would suggest when you're going to be chopping it down, call 311 to get a bulky appointment, because now the appointments are not where you can set it out and they'll pick it up in 10 days. Now they give you a specific date and you can set it out 3 days before. So that's kind of important. That's a little bit of a distinction. So do that. See when you can get an appointment, and then make the appointment, and then go and chop your tree and have it ready for when your appointment day is approaching.
And also, one of the things that George was asking, what's the limit? So you can get a certain amount of trucks per year. Why don't you try to explain that?
You're allowed 2 pickups of 25 cubic yards per calendar year if you're one of our customers. with a bulky waste. You can combine the two if you're just doing a massive amount of clearing debris and that sort of thing. You can combine the two into a 50 cubic yard pickup. Cubic yard is basically one or 25 cubic yards is a truckload. And another way to put it is, think of a cubic yard as about the size of a washing machine. So roughly the size of 25 washing machines.
So, and if somebody, for instance, like lived in West Miami, they would still call for a county pickup for that rather than the city.
I'm not sure if West Miami is one. I think West Miami has their own, but you can, if you're in doubt, call 311 and they'll tell you if you're
and
by your address, they'll tell you.
You put in your address and it tells you, gee,
yes,
you're eligible.
you can also do that on our website. That's right.
So if they're in the county, you should call, you get an appointment for pickup. They give you a time frame to do it. You have your trees brought out to the curb, right? They now pick it up within how many days after?
Well, you schedule the appointment, and then whatever your day is, you can set it out 3 days before.
So whatever the last storm was here, I don't know, half a dozen years ago, I had these coconut palms in the front yard, and I already cut down a bunch of them, and I see the you guys are coming down the street, so I tell the landscaper, if you can get these 3 trees down before they get here, I'm going to pay you. That guy was out there. He was cutting those things so fast. It was perfect. All right. And they came and they picked up, and all very cordial. Right. The guys are very good at it. They're very careful when they pick up, and because they're real pros when they do that. So people want to know a couple things. One, where does the landscaping, when we know that it's landscaping, does that go to a different facility, or is that combined with other bulky waste pickup that would be picked up at the house?
Well, we do keep it separate, but it goes to basically the main facility, our resources recovery facility, where we incinerate waste. We just have things there set up to take like garbage, like household garbage in one area, and trash like lawn clippings and that sort of thing in another area. But at the end of the day, it all gets incinerated and creates.
So all the leaves, all this stuff gets incinerated.
Yes.
Oh, that's very cool. All right. Because sometimes we get out in horse country, get a lot of stuff. Since we talked about a lot of bulky waste, let's talk again about dumping out on the streets and what the county is doing to try to catch the bad guys and to slow it down.
Okay, you're talking about illegal dumping. Well, for one thing, the fines were increased a couple of years ago considerably. I think the smallest fine you're going to get if you get caught is about $260, and it can go up into, I think, $1,000, a couple thousand, depending on how serious the incident is. So that's one disincentive. We have
plus your name goes into that file. This guy's a illegal dumper.
Yes. Plus we have, and in some cases, depending on the seriousness, you can go to jail for it. We have people, an enforcement division dedicated to looking for illegal dumpers, and they work with the Miami-Dade Police Department, who has an illegal dumping unit. So, because it's a crime, the Miami-Dade Police Department, we're talking police now. So this goes beyond a civil infraction where you pay a fine and get a slap on the wrist and you're done. No. You can go to jail for this. You can get arrested for this.
Illegal dumping is different than littering out your window, but both of which are bad.
Yes.
Because you still have to, the county still has to pay people to go out and clean up the streets where it's a paper cup or whatever it happens to be. And I saw one time there was a cleanup by some private parties where they have a street named after them. They're cleaning up. Even that was cleaned up, the county came by and there was so much debris left, little stuff that adds up. It's sort of like when you clean your house really well out in the yard, you go, wow, I didn't know there was all these little paper things that are around there.
Yeah.
So in this time of fuel prices skyrocketing, people being essentially concerned about the earth and global warming and all these things that are happening, there's been this gigantic push, certainly the last couple of years, for electric cars. We know that in some cities are saying we don't want to hear those 2-cycle, 4-cycle, whatever engines, motors going because they make noise. I happen to like it, but that's right. What are the plans with the garbage trucks?
Well, the 2 cycles are the ones that make the most noise, but they're smaller. That's why they're smaller. You don't make large engines. Yes. You don't make big engines at 2 cycles. The noise would be unbearable. But anyway, that's a little mechanic talk there on the side. Well, right now obviously we're looking to reduce emissions as much as possible. And as a matter of fact, we were awarded, I want to say sometime last year or possibly the year before, in recent times, we were awarded a grant from the EPA for close to $1.9 million. for the purchase of low emission trucks. Electric trucks that go beyond that, and they do exist. And there are a few places that have a couple of trucks at this point, and we're looking at possibly, and we'll make an announcement in the future, but possibly obtaining at least one. And we'll make a big announcement about it when we do get it in. Eventually, our department director's eventual vision is that we take all our trucks, they're all electric, and they're all powered by the very same garbage that is picked up and incinerated and converted to electrical power.
Wow.
And that's like the dream for our department. But we're not there yet. It's going to take a while.
It's quite a vision.
But that's the ultimate goal.
So I heard this commercial for lawn equipment. They were pushing the batteries. They said it's as powerful as the gas engines. Certainly, that is concern for all of us about what's there. So if I got this right, for a while there were propane gas buses and trucks.
Yes.
And is that transitioning out to electric? Is that what's happening?
I think at some point, yeah, it looks like it's that's where things are going. I can tell you that if I'm not mistaken, I believe Transit had a few buses that were CNG, compressed natural gas, and we actually have a few trucks that are CNG.
Will those trucks in the future that are electric have the same power as they do now on gas, on regular fuel?
As far as I know, yes. I think the biggest issue with them is range with electric, and of course, things get improved all the time, and that's why I think we're not 100% there yet as far as like garbage collection with electric trucks, but things are moving in that direction.
So when I was thinking about on weed eaters, I'm thinking, okay, I'm watching and I go, so if this is battery, what would they do? And I realized, no, they just carry batteries with them. All right. And they'd go, okay, change it. All right.
And
just like you do.
And hopefully
like
they're less noisy.
Right. And my wife and I were having the argument. I said, I like the noise. I like the smell because I can see stuff's getting done. So my son has a Tesla. I'm sitting in the car waiting for him to come out of a place. I'm just sitting there on my phone. All of a sudden the car starts moving. I had like 5 seconds of like, what's happening? It was him playing around, moving the car back and forth. So if it was obviously if it was a gas engine, you would hear that. So right now the plan is for these vehicles that it's going to have the same or very similar power. And then the question is during a route, because each truck driver per day does about how many hums?
About 1,100 roughly.
Right. So about halfway through the day, they go back and they upload. So the range, if the case is, will it do that many miles? And if it doesn't, then you have to go do something. You don't change. You have to go get it recharged someplace.
Yeah, that's why we're, looking down the road, pardon the expression, pun fully intended.
Yes.
For these trucks. I don't think they're there yet, but the hope is that the future they'll be able to complete the whole route of 1,100
Certainly
homes.
There are people that are about to watch this or will sing it that are young enough that they will not ever own a gas vehicle.
That's
right?
possible. That's
right?
possible.
And so people our age think, well, what do we do when we run out of fuel? Well, you just have to plan it a little bit better. Or maybe you have this extra thing on the side. Certainly that's not of concern to us because we can go to the gas station within a mile. And I think that for a lot of us, when there are fueling stations, charging stations all over, right, everywhere, it'll be different. And maybe we'll be able to recharge in 5 minutes or 10.
Well, if they could do that, or and I'm sure the electric car manufacturers are probably working feverishly on that problem to do it either one way or the other, charge it quickly in a matter of minutes, or extend the range. And I'm pretty sure they're working on that.
Do you think right now you get your phone and you can put on a pad and it'll charge you? You don't have to do anything. Do you think they'll be charging pads? You'll be able to drive your vehicle in and you just sit there, zip, so you don't have to get out and do that.
The big problem I can see there is just make sure that when you step out, you don't get shot. Step out of your vehicle. But I can see them doing something like that.
So you see, I know the county has at least one pink truck, right?
Yes. We have a few.
And what is that's in honoring what is that?
That is for breast cancer, which is a big cause that's near and dear to a lot of people at the county. We have several waste collection truck, different kinds of trucks. So not just waste collection trucks. We have a grapple truck, I think, and we have a trash transfer truck, which is like the big 18 wheelers. At least one of each of those. I'm pretty sure we have more. I just off the top of my head, I don't know how many we have.
So there could be a day there could be pink trucks fully electric.
Yeah, that's possible. That could be our future.
Ta-da. Okay, so some people are making a note and they're asking, what is the starting pay for for the drivers and what benefits?
Starting pay is really good. It actually, when we did the last opening, I think in January, it actually, while it was announced, it actually went up. And I joked that, look at that, you haven't even started yet and you already got a raise. Right now, it's about 39,000, and I think they give you pay supplements, stuff like that, and it effectively comes close to 42,000 a year with overtime. So,
Okay.
you work 4 days a week. You actually work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. You have Saturday, Sunday, and Wednesday off. If you have to work on any of those extra days, you get overtime. So you get that benefit. You get a ton of holidays that the county gives you. You'd have to visit the website, miamidade.gov/jobs, for more information, specific information. You got a ton of holidays. If you have to work holidays, you get extra pay for that. You get health benefits, and the health benefit now, because of COVID, starts like the day you start. So you don't have to wait like in the old days. You have to wait 3 months or 6 months. You get medical benefits immediately, pretty much.
That's amazing.
Pretty
And that's
much.
certainly one of the things that occurred during COVID, and lots of other things too. But certainly we're like more acutely aware of those things that can happen because of COVID. So we have hurricane season that is about here. One of the things I've learned from the mosquito department, there's just times there's more mosquitoes. All right.
Yes.
So at hurricanes, there's hurricane season, but there are weather events that occur, and we know when that every once in a while the winds will get whipped up, right? And some of the big palm fronds will drop. But we know that South Florida is very prone to hurricanes. When should people start, if they're going to trim? When should they start that?
Now.
Right?
Now is actually the best
almost
time. Wait until it
next
actually
week is May, right?
or wait, not wait, but actually try to do it before hurricane season gets here, which is, I think it's June 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So to the extent that you can. I mean, I know sometimes your life won't allow it because you're too busy or whatever, but try to get it. If you can get it done now is the best time.
And to plan that way in advance, and people have coconut palms trees.
Yeah. And I'm not just saying now because sometimes people say, when's the best time to do something now? No, I'm saying it now because hurricane season is only 5 weeks away. I think 5-6 weeks, something like that. So try to get it done before hurricane season. Ideally, I mean, if you can't get it done till like early May or early June.
Well, we just put all new screen on our patio, so I have my thumbs crossed, our fingers crossed that they'll make it through the season. So this is a great time to trim the trees. They can call the county 311 or go on the website. Very effective. Right, make an appointment for them to come out, take your trash, put it out. Within a couple of days, they'll pick that up, and just tell the people why they shouldn't put it out before making an appointment.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're just kind of giving people courtesy notices. They put it out too far in advance. Part of the reason we switched to this new appointment system was to avoid having all these garbage piles out there for a week and a half, which basically the old system, 10 days you could put it out, and you could put it out today, but it wouldn't be picked up for another 10 days, which it's a little bit unsightly to see the piles. But on top of that, if they can't come out, if they're really swamped with requests and they can't come out until the 10th day, when they remove that pile, your green grass is no longer going to be green. So that's another advantage of the new system.
So if somebody's cleaning out some old buildings they had in the past in the back, and they have washers and dryers, refrigerators, freezers, what can they do with those?
You know what? I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that those are okay to put out for bulky pickup. They can definitely be taken to certain of our TRCs, not all of them. You can call 311. Best thing to do probably is call 311 first and see what can be done with them. When it comes to the freezers and refrigerators, they'll make sure to either remove the door or lock, put a chain and lock and make sure nobody can get in, because we don't want any tragedies.
I remember the first time I did that. I took a sledgehammer because I couldn't figure out how to take the door out. I just kept hitting those hinges
Until it came off,
because I remember when I was really young, some little girl climbed in one of those, and that was obviously a long time ago. But I said, no, I'm not putting. I forget where it was, but I made sure that those doors could not be put back on. And it's important that we do that and take care of ourselves. And
the same thing that keeps the cool in. You got that rubber gasket that keeps it airtight. Somebody gets in there, they can't get out. It's airtight, so they only have a matter of a short period of time. So very important to remove those doors.
People can, if they have the money, they don't have to wait for the county. They don't have to do the county. They can call a private hauler
you can
and have that stuff hauled away. and people want to know these big landscaping trucks or the smaller ones that come to your yard, and where do they go with that?
All right, we have there the one exception that we have to no commercial usage of the TRCs, but they do make an arrangement with us in advance. And what they do is they buy these coupon books, and each coupon costs, I forget how much. So that it used to be, off my memory, it was like $25. It's probably a little bit more now, and that allows them to go to the TRC and dump. And that's because they're in the neighborhoods cutting grass. And, to ask them to drive halfway across the county just to dump and then go back and do their customers, they lose business because of that, obviously. So this helps them out a little bit.
Okay, so and we have 5 minutes left, Frank. But let's talk about the homeowner that says, I want to go to the TRCs, and let's talk about there's one or two down south. Where are those?
We have several. We have Moody Drive, I think, is the furthest south on Southwest 268th Street. We have 13 total, and they're spread out throughout the county, the service area. So you won't generally find them in the municipalities that we don't serve, like Hialeah and Miami. But we do have one that's just outside of Hialeah, for example, Palm Springs North. We have a few others that are northeast, close to Aventura and Miami Gardens, which are areas that we service. We have a whole bunch down south.
We have one for a lot of our readers, viewers at FIU.
We have the one at FIU, Snapper
and the one between Sunset and Kendall.
Yes,
107th?
on 107th. Yes.
So when you go there, what do you need to prove that you're a Dade County resident? Because
yes,
right,
they will check. They will check that you're a customer of ours. Bring your photo ID, your driver's license, state driver's license, or state ID if you're.
And if you're driving, you should probably have a driver's license.
Yeah, if you're driving, you should have a driver. But if you're going with somebody else is driving on your behalf.
Yep.
Because maybe they have a pickup truck. Remember the story you told about when you had a pickup truck and everybody was calling you for help? If you have a friend with a pickup truck because you don't have one yourself, bring your license. Maybe your friend lives somewhere where we don't serve, but bring your license and show us that. And if you're our customer, you'll be able to use it.
No charge.
No extra charge.
So
it's covered with a waste fee, so it's not totally free, but no extra charge. You don't go there.
So if you go there and you go, oh, I'm in a city, all right, not a customer.
Well, some of the cities we do serve, and don't ask me off the top of my head to list them all. I can say a few of them. Palmetto Bay is one. Opelika, Miami Gardens, Aventura. Some of those cities we serve. But the larger cities, generally, we don't. Like the city of Miami, we don't. The city of Hialeah, we don't.
So what does the guy do or a gal do when somebody drives up and they're not in your service area and they
would be asked to turn around.
And they turn around. And where would they go?
Hopefully not illegally dump. And we keep an eye out for that, by the way. And we have hidden cameras in places. They would have to check with their municipality. If they're served by the city of Miami, they would have to check. I think Miami and Hialeah at some point may have had, they call them mini dumps. So you can check with them and see what you can do.
And take your kids, your little kids, your grandkids, because it's a gas going over there. And I could just go through it all day long, right? Fortunately, my wife's a neatnik, so I don't have to deal with my own collection of stuff. Frank, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Our guest today is Frank Calderon from Miami-Dade Solid Waste.